When I tell people that I'm into martial arts, they always think I'm talking about karate. But what I'm talking about is the one, the only, Amanda Marshall. When I got this job, they were like, who would you ever want to interview? And I, without skipping a beat, was like, Amanda Marshall. And to have you sitting here today, knowing that I get to talk to you is a dream, and to know that your team was like, we'd really like to talk to Chris Wilson, 22. Humbling. No, it was great. And he actually did send a message for you before we even get in.
I wish I was interviewing Amanda Marshall.
He sends his love.
Chris, you're the man.
A little man. He's not that tall. So, not that tall.
Call me.
I'll give you his number. But I'm so happy that you're here, and congratulations on your Juno nomination.
Thank you very, very much.
What does it feel like to be back? I know everyone's asking you.
I think people are mostly just shocked that I'm still alive. Yeah, it is really wild and crazy. It has been a totally overwhelming and incredibly gratifying experience. It really has. It's been amazing.
I have to say, like, I went and saw you at Massey Hall this summer. I lost my full damn mind. You haven't aged a day. Have your fans? How do we look? What do we look like? Are we okay?
You're okay. Everybody's okay. It has been like slipping back into a warm bath. It really has. And I didn't know whether or not I would be able to do it. I mean, I really, because touring is a big undertaking. It's a big chunk of your life. It's a big chunk of every day. And it was such a pleasure. It was so easy. We had such a great time, and the reception was amazing. And to see people bringing their kids to the show, and their kids know all the words, and to see how deeply meaningful these songs are to people was amazing.
The way I hugged strangers at that show, I had Prosecco, but I would have done it without that. It was truly legendary. In fact, I do have footage from the concert. I'm pretty sure that you pointed at me, and I'll show you the footage. Okay. And then I want to know what it was about me that made your night in Toronto. And then it's me. What was it?
You know what I love about this is the Zapruder level, like slow-moing of the film.
Our sweet sound guy, Barry, he was at your show in Moncton, and he wants to see if you were also pointing at him. So we're gonna see if Barry's here. Barry!
Hey, Stacey!
So I'm here with Amanda. We're on first name basis. You can ask your question. What do you want to know?
Hi, Barry.
It's Barry the Boom Guy. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
Oh.
Me and my mom, Janine, we saw your show in Moncton, and my phone clearly shows that you looked right at me. Do you remember that special moment that we shared?
Barry, you were third row left, right?
You do.
Is that correct? I knew it, Barry. Of course, Barry. I could never forget you, Barry.
Oh, trust me, Amanda, this is love.
Okay, Barry. Okay, thank you so much. Barry, we'll talk to you. No, we loved it.
I love you, Barry.
I can't believe he chose that moment to sing at you. You get
I'm
that
so
one?
glad he did.
I'm so glad he did too.
And in tune.
Yeah. I was so taken by your performance. I couldn't stop buying merch.
Oh boy.
So I got this one, this guy. I changed into this at my seat. Okay, I didn't even go to the bathroom. And then I also got the sweater, got that one right after the show. Gorgeous, wear that all the time. This one, oh, do I play pickleball in this bad boy? Okay.
These are worn. These are really although I would like to add, they are holding up.
They hold up so good. What is it, do you think, that resonates with your music to like women, and you just make us feel?
Wow. Well, I mean, the record we're talking about, my debut, came out at a time when the world of music was replete with a number of, there was me, there was Alanis Morissette, there were a whole bunch of people who were all coming out at the same time. It was around the time that of the advent of Lilith Fair, so it was the first time people were seeing tons of women on stage at the same time together. And I think it brings all of us back to that. Thankfully, women are sort of ruling the music industry now, but it brings us back to the advent of that time, the very beginning of that time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably what it is. Plus, I'm really lucky. I'm surrounded by a group of people we have a lot of women on our team, that help sort of shape what I do. And I think that's really important because it makes it sort of authentic to what I'm doing. And I think people can sort of see that.
What was like the Lilith Fair Women in Songs era like?
But it was so encouraging and so nice to sort of see all of these women, most of whom at the time were my age, to see them in all these different genres of music together, because that was a big deal. I think people don't realize and don't really appreciate what a big deal that was at the time.
Exactly.
Because it was still an era where promoters were saying, well, you know, to have one woman opening for another woman, they wouldn't even follow two female artists on the radio. That was a really big deal. So to have all these women at once from all these different genres from all over the world was a huge deal. And I think I wrongly, I will admit this, at the time felt that it kind of, I don't know, that it was almost a competitive, like it was almost fostering a sense of competition.
Totally.
And then by the time the second or third one came around, I really started to get it. I always understood the importance of it, but I really started to kind of appreciate the whole aspect of sort of the sisterhood of it and the vibe of the whole, what it was meant to do. But in the very, very beginning, everyone was like, well, I'm so used to being the only one, like I'm so used to being the only woman on a bill, I'm so used to being the only woman in the room. What am I supposed to do with all these other broads on the bill?
100%.
Right? Nobody's gonna be looking at me.
No.
But then everybody started to settle and they really got it.
Yeah. In your 20s, you sort of chose yourself and what was right for you. Where does that come from?
Well, I mean, I've said this before. My story is not unique. I don't think it happens quite as much in the music business anymore, but at the time it was happening to a lot of people. That people were sort of signing deals that weren't working out. Mine just really took a long time to resolve. And it wasn't, honestly, at the beginning, it really wasn't a choice, but it developed into something that turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me, which I did not recognize at the beginning. At the beginning, I thought, my life is over, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. But as time went on, I realized this is a gift. This is turning me into the person I was supposed to be. And I wouldn't have had that absent that experience. And it made me, not grateful sounds like the wrong word, but it is. Grateful, I suppose, is the right word. It made me recognize the value of the experience. It gave me time. It gave me the space that I really needed to figure myself out creatively and personally. And it made me who I was supposed to be all along. And I wouldn't have been that without that experience.
Damn. If you think you've run out of time, listen to some Amanda Marshall and wise up. You live this like beautiful life off the internet.
I do. I think our respective generations are probably the last couple that remember what it was like before social media.
Yes.
I love social media, don't get me wrong. I really do like it. And I think it's an incredibly valuable resource in a lot of ways. But it's nice to have that memory, so it's nice to have the ability to kind of live without it.
That's gotta be so good. And you can gatekeep, because I'm a real advocate of that. But what would you say is like your favorite, what's your favorite restaurant in Toronto?
Batondo's, man. Batondo's Pizza.
Batondo's freaking rocks.
Let us give a shout out to Batondo's because they are doing it right.
They're awesome. And I will tell you, across from Batondo's is Monarch Tavern.
That's true.
They have the best karaoke night.
They do.
Where I will tell you, Dark Horse is my song. During that belt, God, you can just really let it rip. And I will tell you, I'm absolutely disrespecting you at midnight at Monarch trying to go for it. So for your latest album, how was it like creating and getting back into the studio? Like, what was that?
It was, the number one question I've gotten is, did you feel an amazing amount of pressure coming back? And the answer to that is no.
Your energy, like not stress, no problem, you know who you are.
It's, time will do that. The best part of this whole experience has been the freedom to really feel like you have nothing to lose. Nobody was waiting for anything. I had always kind of been working towards the next thing, and you sort of get on this treadmill. And listen, there is this necessary infrastructure that springs up around you when you do this job, when you do your job. It is, there's always like the next thing and the next milestone and the next plateau. And to not have that was so freeing. The record took like 12, 15 years to make, which sounds insane, but it really was in sort of an incremental process, so it didn't feel like that. It felt like we would sort of work on it when we felt like it. But at the same time, it also taught me a lot about myself as a creative person, because I wasn't somebody who thought of songwriting as work. It was kind of something I did to get to the next thing. So to just be doing it for the pleasure of it and just be doing it for the fun of it and to have the time and the freedom to change things
Yeah.
and say like, this isn't working. Okay, let's take that and this part of this song will go over here and this will work together and and sort of puzzling it together. That was amazing.
I feel like, especially with like our TikTok culture, we're like on to the next song, on to the next song. No, what's that person's name? Okay, whatever. So to like really give yourself that attention and care, that's beyond rare.
Yeah,
in
and
the
to know
industry.
that nobody was sort of breathing down my neck coming in to hear mixes, and nobody was interested in pressuring us to finish it. And I didn't even know if it would ever come out. I was sort of like, well, and if it doesn't come out, I will have this sort of creative milestone of my own that I'll be able to draw from. Because there is that gap between like your taste and your skill, and it takes a while for your skill to kind of like make it up to your taste. So for me, this process gave me that opportunity to really kind of close that gap and be like, okay, I'm getting better at making stuff. And that's how you do it. You just keep making stuff.
Oh God, don't I know it? I mean, I wish I could show you some of the sketches from 1999 with old McGunnigle. We got better, and thank God YouTube wasn't a thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Ooh, if I would have had a video diary, oh God, I'd be a lonely woman.
Especially for comedians, where everybody is recording you all the time, and you're just trying to work out that 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's a thing, and songwriting is not unlike that. You really need time to kind of mess around with stuff. Even if you are, as I mostly am, I'm pretty fast. Like if something hits, if inspiration hits, I'm usually pretty good about kind of focusing in on it. But you need time to like develop stuff.
And I want to ask, and this is just me selfishly, but like, where does the trust of your instinct come from? Because a lot of the interviews I've watched, you were like, oh, I listened to this song and I just like knew and I went to record it, or this was the lyric, or this was the intro. Like, how do you trust your instinct? Because for me, I'm like, I don't know, this girl she might have had too much Sauvignon Blanc. I don't know if I can trust her.
That happens mostly. The trusting of my instinct, I'm better at it when it's a song that I didn't write, because then you're just naturally drawn to the material and you kind of know. The first single off this record, I Hope She Cheats, I didn't write. It was written by Marsha Ambrosius, and I picked it, but I picked it immediately because the arrangement came to mind right away. The song just spoke to me, and you sort of take ownership over it.
Oh, yeah.
When you're writing, sometimes, because it's your own stuff, you are more prone to kind of second guess yourself and think, oh, maybe should that go there? Am I saying this the way I want to say it? But when it's already done, for me, it's like water off a duck's back. I know like that.
Okay, so a little bit about the Junos. You are nominated for Adult Contemporary Album of the Year. That is incredible. I wanted to know, what do you think makes an adult contemporary album? Is that just an album doing its taxes now?
Pretty much.
Like,
I think adult contemporary music probably now is music that appeals to sort of a wide swath of people who perhaps have a depth and breadth of knowledge of music that maybe contemporary pop listeners coming up behind them haven't necessarily had the opportunity to amass yet.
Right.
And I think that's probably what it is. And some of it is just, where do we put this? I don't know. It goes over there.
Oh God.
And there's nothing wrong with that either. It's,
No, it's like, yeah, you can do it, but but it's also, I'm really hoping that you crush Michael Bublé and he's gone into oblivion.
Dear.
We like bubbly, but he's already got
Listen,
a soda water.
It would be really nice if I could leave here without getting like soda cans pelted at my head.
Yeah, please, no, you can pelt them at me, and I do prefer mango. I think they should bring that one back.
Please send your emails and letters
to me.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm not here to trash him, but I just love you so much, and I'm like, you're the only winner in my mind. So what are you hoping for in like the next couple of years? Like, what are you doing? What's the plan? Tell me everything.
The immediate plan is to make more music, and my immediate plan has always been, I always have sort of songs in my back pocket, and I always have stuff that I'm kind of looking to do creatively. Whether or not it comes out right away, I don't know. Right now, what we're concentrating on is taking the show to as many people as we can. It's been so interesting to kind of watch people wake back up to it and kind of say, oh yeah, like what happened to you? Where did you go? And to really reintroduce yourself and to walk back into those rooms, to watch people's faces kind of be like, what? Like, really? Again? Wow.
Well, I can tell you that's not our faces. Mine's like, what? Ah, shirt off, merch on. She pointed at me.
I was totally pointing at you.
Thank you.
I was totally pointing at you.
I knew it.
But yeah, and so to come into it with no expectations and nothing really riding on it is the best feeling. It really is. It is the best feeling in the world. To come into something like this purely for the love of it, and to just be hanging out with your friends and to do it because it brings you joy is like the best.
Now, honestly, when I'm back, let's go get Batondo.
Let's do it.
I would love to get
Let's
Batondo.
go now.
We got to go to Batondo's now and talk some shit. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. All the
Thank
best.
you for having
the
me.
Junos. Oh my God, I would talk to you forever.
No, jeez.
I'm Stacey McGunnigle for 22 minutes. My dream has been made. Oh, God.